Hello. Good afternoon. Is anyone's there? If you can, if you have any questions, you can definitely text me through the Q&A. And also, I would like to know if you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, then definitely you can write to me. Just confirming that you can, the audio is good and you can hear me so that we can start. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let me share the screen with you guys. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna start. I don't know if anybody else is gonna come to the webinar, so we can give them a little bit of time. All right. If you guys have any questions, okay, you can always send those questions and I'll try to be checking on the chat so that we can answer those questions. So if you guys are you guys new to DermaSwiss or do you guys have your own representatives already? Lisa and Luz. Do you already have your representatives? Are you new to DermaSwiss? Have you been in our other webinars before? Let me know if you already know about our company. I'm going to introduce myself. And my name is Esperanza Fernandez, and I am a DermaSwiss Institute teacher. I'm an instructor, and I've been here for about 2 years already working. I do also share some of the seminars. I know you probably, if you've been here before, you probably haven't seen me before, but I'm also behind the scenes with the school. So I am a teacher for the DermaSwiss Institute, for the school for the estheticians that are going to be getting their facial specialist license. So before the whole pandemic started, I did also teach some of the seminars here directly at DermaSwiss. And most of the times I was doing the English classes. So, again, I've been here for a while now. So I would love to know if you guys also have your own representatives and if you guys know the line. So we're going to be talking about this. This is like an intro about our chemical peels. We'll be talking about mandelic acid and we're going to be talking about when or what precautions we should take if we're doing peels during the summer. But this is almost like an intro also, so that if you haven't received our chemical peels seminars, that you guys know that we do have them available. It's a little bit with a lot more information than just what we're going to see today. But definitely if you're interested in those, we're going to be having those in the future, especially now that we're basically starting, finishing the month of August. So we start with September, and then when we start calling the fall season, where we kind of start working a little bit more with chemical peels on our clients. So welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you. Like I mentioned before, my name is Esperanza, and I'm very happy to be here with you and to answer all your questions and doubts. So I'm going to talk a little bit about DermaSwiss as a company, and I'm sure I didn't get to see if you guys already have been here before in a class, if you know about DermaSwiss, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company. So it's been, in the market for over 28 years now, and it is a professional skincare brand. That means that we're going to be having professional products that you are going to be able to use in your back bar, but that you will also be able to offer to your clients as retail products. Being that they're professional, we know that when we talk about professional products, it means that they're more concentrated. The active ingredients are, at a higher rate in the product, and you also going to see better results. So it is a very, the ingredients are the highest qualities. We do have botanical, marine, and also biological origins, which means that every ingredient that we have, it's going to be either brought from nature, obviously, and also some of them are even made in our laboratories, because DermaSwiss is not just an ingredient, company. It's not just a professional product company, but it also has their own laboratory. So we do have a laboratory for DermaSwiss company. So a lot of our products, a lot of the ingredients, a lot of the resources, they do come in from other countries like Switzerland, France, and Germany. And that's a lot of the products that come in from there, but also here directly in Florida, we do have the laboratories that do work with the ingredients that are coming from these sources from other countries. So it's a compact line. It is very versatile and very effective. What does that mean? That means that even though the line is compact, you still have a lot to work with. You still have a lot. When you start to get to know the line, you will see how you can actually combine and mix and match and create your own protocols. We do have our own protocols established for, let's say, hyperpigmentation, acne, anti-aging, wrinkles, and lifting, etc. But you will also find that once you get to know the line, you can actually create your own protocols by mix and matching the actual products. And then also the fact that is very effective. So you will see a difference. You will see a change on the skin as soon as your client, it's done with the facial. You're going to be seeing that there is an actual change to the skin. I actually see as soon as you start cleansing and then you apply our enzymatic scrub, you will see how the skin looks a lot more hydrated. It's very soothing, so the skin's going to look a lot calmer, and you're going to see a lot of the glow just with those two basic steps, cleansing and scrub. You don't need a whole lot of products. You're not going to need a bunch of different chemical peels, a bunch of different enzymes to be able to give, to your client what they need. The fact that it's compact, it allows you, again, to have your amount of products for your back bar that you can definitely work throughout different conditions and different skin types. But at the same time, you can also offer to your clients the retail products, paraben free, not animal tested, which is very important for the company, that the products are clean products, and then also passion for education. So it's not just that we have the products, it's not just that it's a company to sell for the estheticians to work with, but also that we keep training you, that we keep offering classes for you, that we keep educating you on what are the new tendencies in the industry, and new protocols, etc. So pioneers in education. We support our industry with the best quality in ethics and education. To us, ethics is very important to understand that what we can do as estheticians within our scope of practice, okay, is what we're teaching, but also just to be very responsible with the skin. Remember that here in the state of Florida, we do get very little hours compared to other states. So we have to keep ourselves educated all the time with the new tendencies, with what's out there in the industry within our scope of practice, okay? Because the skin, it's a big responsibility. If we mess up on somebody's skin, it doesn't really we don't come back from that. We have to be very careful. So part of the way that we educate is that you guys understand and have a good understanding of the skin, but also, work with responsibility. And also, we're not just educators for professionals, but we also do have the school. So we also have the school where we are training future estheticians that can get their license. So what are the advantages of the line? What are the advantages of the line? The fact that, again, it's an effective line, that you have chemical peels, which is partly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about specifically the mandelic acid because we are in the summer, but the fact that we do have a line of chemical peels that you can use directly on the skin. So they're not in combinations with anything else. It's just your glycolic, straight 30% or 40%. You do have your lactic acid as well available. You will have salicylic acid available, mandelic acid as well, and the neutralizers. So this allows you to also create different protocols for your clients, and also combine these peels if you wanted to, for example, with the scrub, which is something that you can do. You can definitely combine the peels with our enzymatic scrub to give you an extra layer to the skin, especially if you're introducing yourself to our peels, or if you're introducing a client to peels. It's the best way to start, by mixing the scrub with the peels. So again, the line can be used in the day spa, or it can use more in a medical type of spa, like a Medi Spa. It does have strong corporate support. You guys here, like I asked before, if you guys have already your representative, and if not, then you can definitely ask for a representative. So if you don't have a representative, you can either inbox us at any of our social media through there, or you can call at 305-663-2882. Okay, so at 305-663-2882, you can call us and we will definitely get you a person that's going to be your representative from DermaSwiss. And this is important because anytime you guys have questions about a new protocol, about how to use a product, about a doubt that you have of application of a peel, for example, on a skin Fitzpatrick, that you're not sure if you can or cannot use it, you contact your own personal representative, and this person is going to guide you through how to use the line. They also will send you all the information about future classes, new protocols, product, any sort of new products that we're coming up with, the sales of the season, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna get directly the information from them. And again, if you have any questions, you can just text them, send them an email, and they'll get back to you. So, and again, we are very determined in education and your professional growth as well. So we do help you a lot with any information that you need in regards to how to use our products, how to sell the products to your clients. You can get that information straight from us as well. So you can follow us here. These are our handles that we have for Instagram, for social media through Instagram. You do have the DermaSwiss_pro, which is the handle for you guys, for the professionals. This is where you're going to look at the classes that we have, calendars of classes, product information, protocols, etc. Then we have the DermaSwiss Institute handle, and that's, again, same thing. You're going to find some of the classes, but you're also going to see a lot of information about our school as well. So if you have someone, a person, a friend, a family member who wants to also have the opportunity to study for the license, then they can definitely contact through that handle, or again to the same number, and we can give them more information for the Florida license. Okay, nowadays that we have Zoom, we have even other estheticians that study, or other clients that have studied from other states with us. And what they have to do is they take out their license here in the state of Florida, but then they also have to go into their own state and make up for the hours that they need for their own state. So that's definitely something they can do as well. And we also have the handle for @DermaSwiss, and that's a handle that you might want to have because you might want to share it with your clients. That one gives a lot of the retail information. So retail products for the serums, for the cleansers, but in the retail, with the retail information and prices, and and also for just more information so that your clients can definitely follow the line and have more information on that as well. So that's the school. The DSI is DermaSwiss Institute. And again, we do have our online classes, but we also have practical, we have our practical classes here at DermaSwiss. So for now, we're working like that because of the pandemic, where we have our online school. So all the theory is online, but then they have to come here certain weeks of, certain times of the weeks, of the months, where they have to come and practice also with the DermaSwiss Institute techniques. So if you guys have any questions, you can always write it down on the chat and I'll be checking in, okay? So if I can answer anything, you let me know. And again, so your certificate, it says here that to have the certificate, your cameras must be turned on, not necessarily, but what I do want to check is that your names are correct for the certificate. So whatever you do have right here on your handle for the Zoom, that's how your name is gonna be appearing. If not, then you didn't correct it, or send the information to your representative if you have one, about how you want your name to appear on the certificate. Remember that that's all the information that we have right now, okay? Perfect. So any questions? Okay, so we're gonna get into it. This is, like I said, it's a more of an introductory type of seminar where we're gonna be talking about the chemical peels. We're not gonna be talking about all the chemical peels. We do have another seminar for that, but we do wanna focus on what we can do now. It's important that we remember that there's this stigma about using chemical peels during the summer, because we know that, you know, during the summer, it's hot weather, it's humidity, there's a lot of sun, and it's summer activity. You know, everyone's going out, or for now, everyone's back to traveling. And if you're not traveling, you're going to the beach, you're going to the pool, you're going to the park. So your clients are definitely more active. If they have children, they're going to be more active out in the environment. So what are chemical peels? Because we have to consider all this lifestyle before we have a client come in for a chemical peel. So first of all, what are chemical peels? So they're compounds on the acidic scale. So remember, when we learned about skincare, there's a scale of pH that's going to determine how acidic or how alkaline a product is going to be. So when we're talking about chemical peels, we're talking that they're more on the acidic side of the pH scale. So a chemical peel can go from 3.5, 4, 3.53, 2.8, 2.1, 2.5, all the way into the ones or even lower in the pH scale. They're considered acidic. So definitely they're going to be considered a product that when we apply it to the skin, it's going to be known as a controlled wound or a controlled injury to the skin, because we are generating a wound. Okay, and when I say that, I say it with the fingers, you know, in commas, because we're not actually hurting the skin. You're not going to see it hurting, but we are creating a wound so that we have a reaction to the skin through fibroblast activity. And through fibroblast activity, we're going to have some sort of reaction to the skin. And in the sense that we're using a chemical peel, we're going to have some reactions that are going to help with renewing the skin cells. So, you know, we want to use them to renew the layers of the skin. We want to have an exfoliation process, a desquamation process to the skin. And for that, we need to use a chemical peel. And that's why we call it a controlled damage or a controlled wound to the skin. So what are they going to do? These chemical peels, they're going to expose new layers of skin. So what are they going to help with? They're going to help with renovation of the skin cells. We're going to help with renewing the tones of the skin. They're going to help with wrinkles, fine lines and wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and a number of things. So we have to know that because we are creating an exfoliating treatment to the skin, we're going to be exposing some of those newer skin layers. And this is why sometimes when we talk about summer and using peels, it can be a little bit aggressive on the skin. So we need to know what Fitzpatrick, what conditions of the skin can be done, and also we have to take into consideration the lifestyle of the person. Okay, so when we are talking to a client about, let's say, the benefits of a chemical peel, we're gonna again eliminate the skin cells. This is important throughout different processes of the skin. It could be because they have post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation due to acne. It could be because they're accumulating dead skins too much, and therefore the skin looks lackluster, it doesn't look lively, it's dull, or because they have acne and we need to remove those dead skin cells, right? So that we can open up the pores and more oxygen can come into the pores. But in a sense of just the renewal of the skin that we often need in all of our adult life, because the older we get, that cell renewal becomes slower. So definitely we're going to be able to eliminate dead skin cells. So they help with normalizing the desquamation process of the stratum corneum. So the stratum corneum is the very top layer of our epidermis, and that's where we accumulate a lot of the dead skin cells. So when we talk about the stratum corneum, we have to remember that it's not one layer of dead skin. It's 15 to 16 to 20 layers of dead skin. So after a while of having all this accumulation of dead skin cells, we're gonna see that the skin looks dull. There's not a lot of shine coming through. There's not a lot of absorption of water either. So no good accumulation or retention of water. There's also going to be thickening of the skin. And because there's thickening of the skin, we're going to see also a lot of discoloration. Okay, so we're going to be noticing darker areas forming around the mouth, around the forehead area. And sometimes it's not necessarily hyperpigmentation, it could just be accumulation of dead skin cells. So by doing peels, we're going to help remove those top layers of the stratum corneum, and we're going to be able to rejuvenate, and the skin's going to look more luminous, etc. One moment, please. One moment. Okay. So also, cell renewal, again, it's important. What is cell renewal? So as we learn, as per the book, every 28 days, we should be having a cell renewal process. New cells come from the basal layer up to the stratum corneum, and then they drop, and that takes another 14 days. The only thing that we do have to remember is that the older we get, it's not really 28 days, it could be more. 30 days, 48 days, 50 days, etc. So the older we get, the cell renewal becomes a lot slower. So we're definitely going to help with stimulating cell renewal. When we improve the renewal process from the stratum corneum and we remove those dead cells, and the action of the peel actually seeping into the skin, we are sending a message to the lower cells that they need to stop moving again, and they need to renew. So those mother cells that we have at the basal layer, they start to act up again. They act, they react, and they create new cells, the daughter cells. And therefore they're gonna start rising up, and then we have newer skin. That takes time, obviously. It's not a one-day process, but it does help stimulate with the process of cell renewal. Also, we not just gonna stimulate the process of cell renewal on our basal layer, but the fact that we're creating an injury to the skin, we do send out messages to the dermal layer, and also fibroblast gets activated. And therefore, we're going to see activation of collagen processes, elastin, glycosaminoglycans, etc. That's all going to help with the process of rejuvenation of the skin in the long run. Some of them, I will inhibit bacterial multiplication, preventing the growth of bacteria. For example, salicylic acid. Okay, we know that salicylic acid is a beta hydroxy acid, and we do use it in the processes of acne, but also mandelic acid also has great antibacterial benefits as well. Decreasing the melanin production. So for melanin production, remember that we're going to decrease how active our melanocytes are going to be. So this is therefore going to help with hyperpigmentation processes to the skin. Decrease wrinkles and expression lines, and also help control oil production. Okay, so decrease wrinkles and expression lines. Again, if we have a desquamation process, we're going to be renewing the skin, and something's going to happen. Remember that I said that we're going to be activating a lot of the fibroblast activity. So in the long run, you're going to have better processes of collagen production. You're going to have, you're going to be stimulating elastin as well, and you're going to be stimulating hyaluronic acid through the processes of fibroblast. Also, just in general, the dermis will become better, and therefore you're going to be noticing less wrinkles on the skin and less expression lines as well. And with the help of control of the oil, also mandelic acid will help with that. It does help with regulating the sebaceous gland that in so many cases can cause acne. And in the case of salicylic acid, which is another one of our peels, you can also have the benefit of the oil production, and also unclogging the pores and eliminating dead skin cells from the hair follicles. So what type of conditions can we treat again with chemical peels? Skin photoaging. What is photoaging? The processes of aging because of sun damage. Okay, that is photoaging, the processes of skin aging because of sun damage. So what are we going to see through a damaged skin that has been damaged by the sun? We're going to see lentigos, we're going to see fine lines and wrinkles, we're going to see discoloration all over the skin. There's going to be definitely a lot of, discolorations and hyperpigmentation, hyperkeratinization of the skin as well. So the skin is going to look dull. There's going to be dryness. We can also treat dryness of the skin, but also dehydration, which is another thing. Dehydration is a loss of water. So dehydration can also be, managed through the use of chemical peels. Dry skin can be managed as well, and oily skin can be managed as well. Acne and rosacea are other things that we don't think about, but in the sense of rosacea, but definitely rosacea can be treated with our chemical peels. And I'm talking about DermaSwiss, okay? So remember that whenever you're looking into peels, you have to follow the instructions of the brand that you're using. So in the sense that you're going to be using DermaSwiss, you can definitely use chemical peels, the Mandelic, on your rosacea or sensitive skin types. Dyschromias, which are basically all the discolorations that come from, overproduction of melanin. So again, hyperpigmentation, melasma, post-inflammatory due to acne or due to a chemical reaction or an allergic reaction, okay? Also, sunspots or lentigos that we know them as well, or age spots. Stretch marks can be treated with our peels as well. Superficial scars, and also epidermal lesions such as actinic keratosis, seborrheic keratosis. Also, you can treat keratosis pilaris on the arms or the buttocks area. Some people have it also on the face, and that's when you get that rough skin that looks like chicken skin. You can definitely treat with our peels as well. Let's see if you guys have any questions. Everything good? Okay, I hope you're hearing, because I don't know if you guys don't have questions, because I hope you're hearing me. So these are some types of the chemical peels used in aesthetics. So a lot of them we have already heard. So we have the alpha hydroxy acids. Okay, these are water soluble. Alpha hydroxy acids are the ones that we're going to be using. Depending on the Fitzpatrick, we have to be careful of the alpha hydroxy acids. What is the Fitzpatrick? Let's remember the Fitzpatrick, we're talking about the skin tone, like how light or how dark the person is. We have to take that into consideration in the processes of a peel. Not all peels can be used on darker skin tone. So when we're talking about a Fitzpatrick 4, 5, and 6, we definitely need to be careful about what type of peel we're going to be using, okay? And then when we're talking about the lighter skin tones, 1, 2, and 3, we have to be seeing how sensitive they are. So one is going to determine how sensitive we are to the light, but also how fast we tan. And that will definitely be on your higher Fitzpatricks. If they are darker, that means that there's more melanin production, and some peels could be a little bit harsh. So they will develop a little bit of an inflammation process to the skin. And this can be potentially, it can potentially hyperpigmentate your client when they're darker skin tone. So we have to take into consideration those things. And this is why the actual chemical peel class, when we talk about all the different peels, is very important, because we need to understand each peel and how they work. So some of the alpha hydroxy acids are your mandelic acid, which is the one we're going to be talking about today. We have lactic acid, we have glycolic acid. DermaSwiss has 2 glycolics, one at a 30% concentration and one at a 40%. Then there's also malic acid. Malic comes from apples, and tartaric acid, which is derived from your grapes. Also, we always hear about ferulic acid, which is a great and a potent antioxidant. Kojic acid, which is used a lot in products that you're going to see in combination for hyperpigmentation as well. And also azelaic acid, which is also a great anti-inflammatory type of acid. And it's also great for hyperpigmentation and also rosacea. But then there's another group, and that's your beta hydroxy acid. And your beta hydroxy acids are your liposoluble. So AHAs are water soluble. That means that they like water, so they dissolve easily into the skin. And then you have your liposoluble, which looks into the oily parts of the skin. Remember that our acid mantle is a combination of water and oil. Okay, so it's hydrolipidic, and they can both work in the same manner in the skin. It's just that alpha hydroxy acids are going to penetrate through the pores and the follicles, whereas beta hydroxy acids is going to penetrate through the follicle, and it's going to help with eliminating dead skin cells and the sebaceous filaments inside the follicle. And this is why BHAs are amazing for acne, okay? Because they will go into the follicle, they will help remove the dead skin cells within the follicles, remove all those lipids that are being accumulated on the skin. And at the same time, it's anti-inflammatory and it's antibacterial. So it's definitely going to help with the processes of acne. So with salicylic acid, the only thing you have to be looking into is just be very careful if your client is allergic to aspirin, because it comes from the same source, which is the willow tree. So these right here are the line that we have for Dermastews, the Pelix Plus chemical peels. And these are the different ones that we have. So we have Mandelic, which is going to be the one we're working with today. We do have it at a 15% concentration and it's 3.3 pH. So as you can see, it's gentle type of chemical peel. The pH is not as low as others. It will still stimulate the skin. It will still stimulate the activation of cell renewal, but without it being too aggressive. Then we have the lactic at a 50% concentration with a 2.8 pH. So 2.8, we're talking about now more into the acidic. There's still going to be aesthetic peels. We are still not going to find peeling on the skin. So again, just be careful about your client's Fitzpatrick, but you're not going to see the skin peeling off or anything like that. Remember, these are not medical grade. They are aesthetic grade, and they're within our scope of practice as estheticians. So they do work. They will work on the skin with the cell processor renewal, hyperpigmentation, and everything that we've been talking about. But they're progressive. So they're not aggressive on the skin. They will be progressive. Definitely you can offer to your client different sessions and different protocols. Also the glycolics, we have 30% and 40%, 2.5 pH and 2 pH. So again, very acidic. For example, the glycolic acid at a 40% with a pH of 2, you can definitely use for problems on the body. It's a stronger pH concentration at a lower pH. So areas in our body where our skin is a little bit more resistant, you can definitely do peels for. Stretch marks, hyperpigmentation, acne on the back, for example, and work with that. Also salicylic acid at a 15%, pH 3.5, and then you neutralize. So all of our peels need to be neutralized. And you can see the neutralizer has an alkaline pH, and therefore it's going to help, level out the base of the skin. So when we talk about considering performing the acid treatment on our client or the peel on a client, we have to look for this right here. We have to see that what are the risks of hyperpigmentation to the skin, okay? Remember that it's greater during the summer because we have more exposure to UV rays. The radiation is actually a lot more and hotter, and therefore you're gonna be more exposed to sunlight and therefore photosensitivity. So that's the first thing we have to consider. What would be the lifestyle of this client? Are they usually going to the beach a lot on the weekends? Do they have their kids going into sports and to like the pool, for example, for lessons? Are they going to be exposed to the sun a lot? So you have to think about the frequency of your clients being exposed to sunlight. Also, we must remember that when we do peels on the skin, you're going to be losing a lot of the protection from the acid mantle. We are exposing a little bit more the stratum corneum by removing the skin layers. So that's why we have to consider their lifestyle, because they are going to be having, even though they don't see that their skin is peeling, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It means that we did an exfoliating process on the skin, a chemical exfoliating process on the skin, and therefore the skin needs to be protected with sunscreen, more hydration, less activities outside. You're going to consider also the age and the lifestyle, like we were talking about, of the client before making the decision to apply the acid peel. In the case of the teenagers in your life or in your clients, if they're active in sports, again, if they're going to be very exposed to the sun during the summer, then I would definitely think about doing those peels. So you know, that's the main thing. You have to really know what their activities are. If not, then it's better for them to wait, you know, during the more cooler or fall time. But if your client is somebody that is not very active out, it's not really considering going to the beach too often because, you know, they do work inside in an office area. There's a window, maybe there's sun, there's this type of lights, but there's less of that activity in the heat. We have to remember also, guys, that it's not just about the sun exposure and the UV, but it's also the heat. Heat will create inflammation in the skin, and that's what we don't need. We don't want inflammation to the skin when we do peels, because part of the problem with hyperpigmentation is inflammation. This is what we call it post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, okay? The skin needs to, if it's inflamed, if it's red, if it's hot on the inside, there are chemical processes happening where melanin also gets activated, and we don't want that. So this is why it's important. It's not just about the UV, but it's also about the heat. It's within the skin, within the weather. You know, when they leave work, do they go into a hot car? So for people who have a lot of activity outside, it is not recommended to have the peels in the summer. But if somebody, again, works in an office, they don't go out to the sun a lot, they don't go to the beach, you know, the pool too much, then it's better. It's a candidate for a chemical peel in the summer because you're able to control their environment a lot better, and their routine also. The other thing that you need to consider is the type of peels, the molecular weight. Is it a dense or a higher molecular weight, or is it a lower molecular weight? So for example, going back to the different peels that we have, the one with the lowest molecular weight would be the glycolic. Okay, so it's a very small molecule, therefore it's going to penetrate into the skin a lot quicker, and there can be some inflammation processes. Whereas your Mandelic peel, which is the one we're going to be using during the summer with our client, it's a bigger molecule. It doesn't penetrate as fast into the skin, but once it does, it will create a change, and it will create a process of cell renewal to the skin. It will also brighten the skin. So you don't have as much risk with a Fitzpatrick 4, 5, and 6. You don't want to do a glycolic, especially during the summer. But when you have a Fitzpatrick 1 all the way to 6, you can definitely work the Mandelic peel because it's very friendly throughout all the different skin tones. So the risk of hyperpigmentation, when we talk about the risk of hyperpigmentation, guys, again, taking into consideration Fitzpatrick, but also you have to see how they heal. So, you know, if it's a person that because they get a mosquito bite or they have acne or they cut themselves and they definitely create a lot of hyperpigmentation to the skin, then that's something that you have to consider as well. So, and again, the important thing is, in addition to the client's lifestyle and habits, we must know how to choose the exfoliating method that we're going to be using. Again, is it going to be enzymes? Is it going to be a peel? And if it's a peel, which peel we're going to be using, okay? Now, mandelic acid is going to have a high molecular weight. It slowly penetrates into the skin, into the epidermis, and it will not cause any sort of irritation or any sort of inflammation. In fact, this is the peel that we use also for our sensitive skins. So that's how gentle it is. You know, you would be able to use it for brightening, for hyperpigmentation, for acne treatments, but also for your sensitive skin types. Any questions? We're good? Okay. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the mandelic acid. Again, it's an alpha hydroxy acid. It is extracted from bitter almonds. So, you know, talking about the source of the peel, they each come from different sources. In the case of mandelic acid, it's through the bitter almonds. It is a higher molecular size. Again, that's why the penetration into the skin is very slow and it's not going to irritate. So in comparison to glycolic, and I always have glycolic as the comparison because it's the one with the lowest molecular activity, you're going to have somebody that when you apply it, they're going to feel a little heat to the skin. So they might feel a little like, they're going to say, oh, it itches, or it's kind of burning a little bit, and they might turn a little red. And that's part of the process because remember, it's small molecule penetrating quickly into the skin, and there's a quick reaction. Okay, so the skin's like, what is going on? Hello, like there's a change on my pH. There's a lot of changes going on right now. So it reacts. And that's part of the reaction, heat or burning sensation, a little redness to the skin. But with mandelic acid, you don't have that. They basically don't feel like there's a product on the skin, but that doesn't mean it's not working. It is still a chemical peel. Okay. So it's more of a slower process, but you're still going to have, again, that cell renewal. You're still going to see the luminosity to the skin, and you still have the benefits of the peel, which is hyperpigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles, etc. It has a gradual effect. It is one of the best peels for hyperpigmentation. So consider this with your darker Fitzpatrick, which have the tendency of hyperpigmentation. This is the peel to work with, okay? It can be used on all skin types, including rosacea, sensitivity, all Fitzpatricks, and also with the steamer. So if you're gonna do a process of disincrustation, you can apply it on the skin, apply the steamer for about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on your need of the skin. And you can definitely use that to disincrustate or to help with better extractions. So you would apply it and then you would obviously remove it with neutralizer, but then you would go in with the steam, with the extractions. And then the way that we do it with the protocol is that we apply it directly to the skin. We leave it on for 8 minutes and then we neutralize it as well. And then we remove everything else with water, okay? So this is the protocol. And what I'm gonna do right now, let me know if you have any questions before I prepare my demo. Do you guys have any questions at all? No? Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the camera and mute it for a little bit. So if you guys need a little break, go drink water or whatever you need. I'll be back in about 10 minutes with my model, and I'm gonna start the demo for you guys to see, okay? And this is the protocol right here. So remember, if you have a representative, you can have them send you this protocol. If you already don't have it, they can send you this protocol. And then also another thing that I want to mention for today, I'm going to mention this during the demo, but what I do want to mention is that for today and for tomorrow, this is the sale that we have right now. So you will get the all the peels. You also get in this case, you will be getting the glycocell and the derma scrub, which is our enzyme exfoliator. The glycocell is our gel that it's a 12% glycolic, and you can also combine that with the derma scrub when you're doing the incrustations as well. And you will get an epifactor, a 6-ounce epifactor instead of the 1 ounce. So you'll be getting the actual pro size epifactor, okay? So you have that option. Or you have the option of the Pilex Plus, the Derma Scrub, but instead of the epifactor, the 6-ounce, you'll get the little one with the 1 ounce and then the glycocell, but also the 2 extra neutralizers. So whichever you think is best for you, definitely contact your representative so that they can give you that promotion. And it's good for today. And also for tomorrow, the 17th, okay? We're gonna go into that later on. Let me just prepare right now so I can start the demo, okay? So if you have any questions, let me know in a little bit. I'll be right back, 10 minutes, okay? We'll be right back in 10 minutes. Okay. I'm back. So I have my model right now. You're gonna be seeing the process for the protocol. I will also give you guys I'm gonna remove the protocol, okay? So that you guys can have a bigger view of what's going on. Okay, a minute. Okay, perfect. So my client, she does have some photo damage to her skin. She about a year ago had a baby, so her hyperpigmentation that was created because of the baby. She did have a lot of hormonal differences. Okay, so it kind of like, you know, she stayed there. Like for her, it didn't go away the melasma. So this would be your typical client that if they do ask you about doing peels during the summer, you can start the processes little by little to her skin, so that you can start actually preparing the skin so that when the better weather comes in, you can start adding a little bit more of other processes in combination to the peel, like microdermabrasion, for example, for more advanced, or doing, let's say, instead of using the glycosol, you would be able to use the lactic acid in combination with the scrub, and then going with the mandelic, for example. So, you know, it would be perfect for her to like start a type of treatment where you can start it off during the summer just to start getting her skin prepared to peels if she's never had one before. But then, you know, once we start the fall season, then you can go into other protocols with her. So I'm gonna start by cleansing her skin. We are gonna use the Derma Cleanser. So the Derma Cleanser is great for all skin types. This is the big size for the back bar, okay? So the Derma Cleanser is a gel cleanser. And I'm gonna show you guys also at the end the slides for each of the products. It's a gel cleanser. It does have green tea, antioxidants, aloe vera, which is very soothing and calming. And also it does have chamomile. So great for all skin types. We also do have other cleansers, but you know, if you only have this one, then you're good to go. You're good to work all the different skin types with this cleanser. So we're removing, remember, always think about how your client, if they come in with makeup, if they don't have makeup, if they do have makeup, you want to remove the makeup. So you're really going to do 1, 2, or even 3 applications of the cleaning of the skin, okay? If they do have makeup, we do recommend the Gentle Cleanser, which is a milky cleanser that's definitely going to provide since it's more of a milky cleanser, it will remove makeup from the skin, okay? So right now with her, she doesn't have any makeup on, but obviously she did have her sunscreen, and also anything from the environment we are going to remove. So using 4x4s, just remove. The cleanser, as you can see, it is not going to create any sort of foam, so it doesn't get really soapy, and that's great because it's not going to disturb the acid mantle. It will provide cleansing to the skin. It will provide removal of, again, you know, all the things that get stuck to our skin because of the environment, but it will not disturb the acid mantle, which is what we need. We don't need a product that's going to be super foamy or super, you know, detersive to the skin. So your client is not going to feel, or even when you sell them the product, they're not going to feel like, you know, tight skin or anything like that, because you're not disturbing the natural lipids of the skin. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get one of these, and we're going to apply the Derma Scrub. Okay, so our Derma Scrub, it's our enzymatic exfoliator. Okay, it does have papaya enzymes. It also has what we know as diatomaceous earth, which are the particles that give you the exfoliating scrub to the product, and they are great for even the most sensitive skin, because since you have the enzyme, you can definitely just leave it with this and you're fine. You're still gonna have an exfoliating treatment on a sensitive skin because of the papaya enzyme. It does also have exfoliant extracts, which is great for hydration of the skin. But what we're gonna do today for the purposes of this protocol is not just the enzyme, but we're going to combine it with the glycosol, okay? And our glycosol is this one right here. It's a glycolic at a 12% concentration. It's a repair gel. So it's like a gel consistency. So I'm gonna do 2 pumps of it, okay? So you also here are already preparing the skin with a peel of a 12% concentration, which is gentle, okay? But it's gonna help with exfoliation processes. And if you were to be doing extractions, you can actually leave it on the skin with the steamer on, okay? So it's gonna help with the sequestration of the skin as well if you were to do extractions to your client. So we start from one side, we move it down to the ladders of the skin, of the face. Okay. The layers, they don't have to be thick, okay, guys? Remember that these products are concentrated ingredients, so a little bit goes a long way, but also it's an enzyme. And not just an enzyme, you also have a glycolic at a 12% concentration here. So you don't need to have a thick layer. And then whatever you have left of product, you can also bring it down to the neck area, okay? And if you're offering neck area or décolleté, then you would also bring it down to that area as well. So this time when you do have your glycosol on with the derma scrub, you can definitely work it around. So you would activate it by doing the circular motions to the skin, okay? So you can definitely do that. And if, like I said before, if you do have extractions, then you can definitely apply the steamer, okay? You apply the steamer and you will gently just do circular movements, and then you will actually be able to do extractions, because with our mandelic peel, you can apply the mandelic peel after extractions, okay? So you work those areas. If they have thicker skin, more hyperkeratinized, then you want to work the areas where the skin has been accumulating. So I want to work here a little bit more. And again, the product, it does have the diatomaceous earth, but it's not aggressive. So remember that that's something important. Oftentimes some exfoliating agents that we use are too thick and too abrasive for the skin. And microscopically, we're injuring the skin. But in the sense of using the derma scrub, it does not happen, because the scrub, it's a very small particle. It is very gentle, but it does slough away, it does remove the dead skin cells from the very surface of the skin. Okay, so let's say your client is sensitive, right? Because remember, sensitivity is a condition sometimes, like it is, if it's rosacea, let's say they don't know they have rosacea, so we cannot diagnose it, right? So we're gonna treat it as sensitive skin. Then maybe you wanna skip the glycosol. You just leave the enzyme, okay? You leave the enzyme on like a mask for 8 minutes or up to 10 minutes, and you don't touch it, you don't exfoliate, you just leave it there. It's still gonna work, it's still gonna do the exfoliating process that enzymes do on the stratum corneum, okay? Juliana, we should start it right now, okay? I just cleansed the skin. I did the cleansing with the derma cleanser, and now I apply the derma scrub with the glycosol. And the derma scrub, it's our exfoliating agent that also has papaya. So it's also an enzymatic exfoliation. Okay, good. And then we just kind of move it around for about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on what you're doing. So for her, we're not doing extraction. So 2 to 3 minutes, and then we remove it. We just want to remove the extra layers of dead skin cells. I was saying also that if you have a more hypersensitive skin, redness, etc., then you don't want to, you can definitely skip the glycosol, and you can just use the enzyme, leave it onto the skin for about 5 to 8 minutes as a mask, and then you remove it, okay? I love, you guys, the derma scrub. I feel that right after I use it on my client, the skin just starts glowing right away. Like it's amazing how it helps with hydration um, because of the squalane that it has. So squalane are derived from the leaves of the olives, and it brings a lot of hydration into the skin. And it's very gentle, like I said before. It's very gentle, so you're not shouldn't be scared about working with any conditions or also any Fitzpatrick. So just remove those little particles. You don't want them to stay on the skin before you move on to the next step. Another tip is that when you know that you're going to be working with chemical peels, try to use water that is not hot, okay, guys? Hot water is not good for hyperpigmentation. It's not good for dehydration. So use room temperature or even a little cooler than room temperature when you're using peels on the skin. Okay, so what I want to do now is just remove excess moisture because I want to prepare it for the peel. So we just get a Kleenex, a tissue. Just remove any extra moisture. But this is also what it's gonna do is gonna help me remove any little particles that are being left behind from the derma scrub. And I'm just gonna brush away very gently with a fluffy brush. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so what am I gonna do now? What I'm gonna do is I wanna make sure that I cover the areas where it might be a little bit more sensitive to a peel. So I will add a barrier of petroleum jelly on the areas on the corners of the eyes, the nose, and the corners of the lips, because those are they tend to be very sensitive areas, and we don't want the product to get into those areas. If your client does have microblading, for example, that is very recent, you also want to cover those areas with the petroleum jelly. So I'm going to extract a little bit. I'm going to take some out with my Q-tip. It's not a whole lot. I mean, I kind of grabbed a little bit too much right there. Just a little bit, just a barrier. But because I also want to do it on her eyebrows. So I do want to cover her eyebrows a little bit because she does have a little bit of work done. But then I'm going to go into, like I said, the corners of the eyes, because these areas could be a little bit too sensitive for a peel, and it's just a protective barrier. It doesn't let it run in those areas. Okay, then the corners right here, where you know how sometimes we get those areas that are very like they get red and sensitive very easily. So that's where you want to work. And then also the cracks on the sides of the lips. Okay, that will be it right there. Perfect. Okay, the next step is going to be to cover her eyes with two by twos, or you can use the cotton rounds. So we wet them with a little bit of the toner, the Dermatoner, which is also for all skin types. The Dermatoner, the Dermatonic is going to help. It's a toner. That's why I keep calling it Dermatoner. It's a toner, and it's going to help with. It does also have chamomile. It does also have vitamin C and also the bisabolol, which is amazing for soothing and calming. And we're gonna close the eyes. Okay, take all the precautions for the preparation of the skin. Okay, so what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna have these two little glass jars. Remember to always use glass when you're using peels. Don't use metals. Okay, you could use something like this because at the end of the day, it is acidic. And we're gonna be using the Mandelic directly on her skin. So Mandelic acid at a 15% concentration, all right? So I'm gonna dispense one whole dropper, okay, into one of the jars. But I'm also gonna make sure that I already have my neutralizer ready. Okay, so the neutralizer ready on the other glass jar. Again, one dropper, the whole dropper, okay, with neutralizer. And I keep them like that only because, you know, I know which one's which. Okay, this is my Mandelic and this is my neutralizer. Okay, so we're gonna start. So we're gonna take into consideration 8 minutes. So starting now, look at the time. And we start from the center of the forehead outwards without trying to just go, not going over and over on the same spot, okay, guys? Just very gently applying the peel from the center of the face outwards. Okay, then the other side, again, from the center of the forehead out, the center of the face outwards. And it's a process that we kind of do it at a faster rate because time's running and you want to have it on for 8 minutes. So you cannot take all time. You have to really go for it. Then go to the center, nose. These are the most sensitive areas. So we go there last, over the upper lip where the mustache area would be. And then whatever you have left, again, you can go down to the neck area. Okay. Remember that everybody's different. So if you need more product, you get more. And then if you did offer for the décolleté, then you have to take into consideration costs when we talk about also treating the décolleté area. So already the 8 minutes are running. We're 1 minute in. And what I'm doing now is just kind of fixing up with the same brush, no more excess, whatever product was left on the brush. I kind of go back and kind of fix the areas where I'm working on. Okay. ¿Cómo te sientes? Del 1 al 8, del 1 al 10. Bien. She says everything's fine. No te quema, no te, okay, not burning or anything like that. If your client feels a little, sometimes they feel like something's itching, or so you can just go with the brush in that area. Okay. If they tell you it's a nose, go with the brush in that area. So again, my client, she's the perfect candidate for summer chemical peels, right? Because we have the darkening of the area. She's somebody that I do want to consider treating even furthermore because she does have that stubborn melasma that is there. So for now, what I want to consider is treating the skin gently so that we can move forward later. And once her skin is accustomed to chemical peels, to doing other protocols. No, this is not, we're not doing moisturizer right now, Juliana. Right now, what I did was the cleansing with the derma cleanser. Okay, so we cleansed with the derma cleanser. And let me show you right now so that the 8 minutes on her, okay. Let me go right here. Really quick, hold on, sorry. Let me share the screen. So we did the derma cleanser, okay? And the derma cleanser, it's for all skin types. It's like I always said, if you guys don't have other cleansers, that's the way to go. If right now you're starting off with the line and you need to pick, you know, one cleanser, this is the one because it's gonna remove dirt, impurities. You know, it's not gonna strip the skin. It's not gonna give the client, you know, that dry kind of feeling to the skin because it is not that kind of cleanser. It doesn't create a lot of foam, so it's a gel cleanser, but it removes the impurities without stripping the natural barrier. So these are some of the ingredients that it does have. So it does have chamomile. It also has the aloe vera. So you see, it's very soothing and calming. Okay. The cucumber, again, anti-inflammatory, refreshing, green tea, which is an antioxidant. So I cleansed with that first. You have to consider your client's skin. If they came from work, then you're probably gonna have to do more than one cleansing. I'm looking at my time because I don't want to go over the time. So we're 3 minutes in. So the other thing that we did after that is I did the scrub. So this is our exfoliating enzymatic scrub. So I applied it with the brush, but I did combine it with the glycosol. Okay, the glycosol is a 12% glycolic gel that we use oftentimes in combination with the enzyme just to give it a little bit more of a push to the skin. You know what I mean? We also love it before extraction. So you can combine the derma scrub with the glycosol, just 1 or 2 drops. That's all you need. 1 or 2 drops of the glycosol into about a quarter size amount of the scrub. Okay, so about, yeah, like a quarter, 25 cents. That's how much the amount of product that you need. And then 1 or 2 drops of the glycosol. You mix them and you put it on the skin with a brush. You apply it with a brush. You leave it on the skin for, depending, if you're gonna do extractions and you can leave it up for 8 minutes. But if it's just for the purposes of the peel, you can just leave it on for about 5 minutes. And you can also start moving it. So you can actually do the circular movement. So I did a little bit of that on her, just that circular movement to the skin. If you're going to be using a steamer, you can leave it up for 8 minutes or up to 5 minutes. It just depends on the skin. You guys have to evaluate that, okay? How the skin is looking, how it feels. So we remove it. We dry the skin, we prepare it. How do we prepare the skin? With the petrolatum or the Vaseline, okay? And what I mean by preparing the skin is just, I'm gonna cover the sensitive areas with that barrier, with the Vaseline. So the corners of the eyes, the brows, if they have microblading, for example, the inner sides of the, the outside of the nostril area where it gets red in some cases, and then also the corners of the lips. Those are the areas where some people even do it over the lips if they're very cracked and chapped, only because sometimes you never know, the product might run. So just create that barrier on the skin. And we wet a little bit of Dermatonic onto the pads just to lay them on the eyes so that it's refreshing. And we cover the eyes, and then we did the Mandelic. So the Mandelic acid first on one side, then on the other, brought it down a little bit to the neck area. Consider if you're gonna apply more on the décolleté, and if that's gonna change your prices or anything like that for the service, okay? And now we have it on for 8 minutes, so one more minute, one more minute. You're welcome. So do you guys have representatives? Remember that they can send you the protocol, okay? And like I said before, this is the perfect peel for any Fitzpatrick, for any condition. We're talking about, in her case, because she's my model for the day, and she does have hyperpigmentation, she does have some melasma, but you know, it could be very well somebody with acne that you're treating. This would be the peel that you want to use as well, because it is also great for seborrheic or even acne skin type. So we're going to remove it now, okay? So do you see her skin? It looks great. It's not red, it's not inflamed. Let me go back to, so that you guys can see the whole picture. Right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna neutralize really quickly. My neutralizer, this is why you wanna have your neutralizer ready, guys. If there's some sort of reaction for any reason, you wanna have it ready. So we start backwards now. We're gonna start at the nose, which is again, one of the most sensitive parts. Then we're gonna go over the top lip, and then we go and we do the rest the same way we started. There might be a little bit of sizzling, kind of like you're gonna see some bubbles. It's normal. The neutralizer is an 8.5 pH. That means that we're bringing back the pH of the skin. Your client might feel a little bit of like a burning or itching sensation. Again, it's normal. We're bringing the skin back to its regular pH. So there is a bounce back from, 3.3 to a 5.5, wherever their pH is at normally. So they might feel a little bit of like that kind of burning sensation. It's normal. Don't be scared about that, and let your client know. You might feel a little burning sensation now that I'm gonna apply the neutralizer. It's okay. So we just make sure, again, with the neutralizer, we go everywhere. Okay. We neutralize every little area. I like to go even more out than where I did it because you never know if it ran a little bit. It shouldn't because the Mandelic, it's very jelly-like, it's thick. So it shouldn't be runny, but just in case. All right. Now that I have neutralized it, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get a new 4x4 set, clean water. I have it all the way down here in the bottom. And I'm gonna go back with clean water and just going to tap. Okay, and just wipe it away. Okay, let's remove the. What are the recommendations? Even though we're doing a gentle peel, what's the recommendation for your client? Still, they need to not go get exposed into the sun. Okay, like there's no way that she's gonna be going to the beach tomorrow. No, no beach, no pool. They gotta at least wait for about a week. And then if they do go somewhere, they have to be wearing the floppy hat, the big sunglasses, because the peel's still working, even though we didn't feel it, even though she didn't feel any burning sensation, that doesn't mean that we didn't do a deeper exfoliation on her skin. What's gonna be the recommendation for her for today? Go home, moisturize, Epifactor. And then the following day, again, moisturization, Epifactor, okay, to repair the skin. And then SPF, reapply SPF throughout the day, a lot of SPF. Sun protection is key when it comes to the skin's health, to the processes of hyperpigmentation. Okay, perfect. Okay, okay, so she's good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to apply Epifactor. And Epifactor, you guys, I'm sure you've heard. Let me go back really quick here so that you guys can see the benefits. So let me share with you the benefits of the Epifactor. So you guys can see it right here. Okay, so epidermal growth factor, okay? What does that mean? That's gonna help me with the processes of cell renewal, okay? It's going to heal and it's going to regenerate. And this is why it's perfect to use after chemical peels, microdermabrasion, dermapen or microneedling, things like the plasma pen, because it's gonna help me with the regeneration of the cells and epithelial repair. Okay, so it does have aloe vera, again, antimicrobial, which we need after procedures that are considered a little bit more invasive. Healing, it's anti-irritant. Also, the bioplasma, in this case, the plankton extract, which is a type of seaweed that it's gonna be great for the processes of collagen production because it's a protein that's gonna help with the metabolism of the cells. And also, it does have hydrolyzed hyaluronic acid, and it also does have urea. So this is what you guys need to have in your treatment room, but you can definitely include it for your client to take home. So it could be in the price. So if you're doing a package for hyperpigmentation where you're offering 4 to 6 sessions or 3 to 4 sessions, for example, you can definitely get, not this size, obviously it's going to be the retail, which is the 1 ounce, but this is what you want to have them take home so that whatever treatment that you're doing on them with peel, they can keep using this at home to repair the skin after a peel, especially if you're going to be offering different sessions, a package with sessions. So you can add it into the pricing and you're going to be like, okay, so this is 3-4 sessions package for so amount of money, but it includes an Epifactor, which is something that I'm going to need you to use every time we do a peel, every time we do a microdermabrasion, every time we do a microneedling, you see? So it's already inside the price. So take into consideration the prices that you have and how you can add already the Epifactor into your client's package. That way they're like, oh, wow, you know, it's a good price and it comes with a product that I'm gonna use at home. And then later on, whatever they need, Derma C, which would be whatever, that would be the other product that they need if you're talking about hyperpigmentation. So the Derma C, it's our product with the vitamin C, and that's also definitely gonna help with hyperpigmentation. Also the retinol, the retinol would be another product for hyperpigmentation or acne. What's gonna happen now? We're gonna do a veil, okay? This is our collagen and aloe vera veil mask, okay? So this right here, it's a product that the main active ingredient for now is the aloe vera. So we have different ones, and I'm gonna show you also later when I'm done applying the mask. I'm gonna show you the benefits of all the veil masks that we have. But first of all, I want you to see, okay, how we apply it. So we're gonna fold it lengthwise. Okay. And we're going to measure from the forehead, the hairline, to the nose, mark it there, and then mark it down to the chin area, okay? And then I like to kind of mark it here on the side as well, okay? Now we're gonna cut, because we need to open up the pathway for the air, okay? So we need to leave our client so that they can breathe. Also, guys, ask your clients if they are claustrophobic. If they're claustrophobic, you're gonna have to also make the eyes. You're gonna open up the eyes a little bit. So we're cutting here. I'm sorry, I keep thinking that you guys aren't seeing me. Up, okay, so now we have the opening for the nose. And then down here, we're gonna do another upside down triangle from the bottom up to the other mark of the chin area, because we're gonna use this triangle to cover the top part of the nose. Okay, so the way that we apply it is I'm gonna add a little bit of, hold on, let me get, just a little bit of toner, just to kind of have the veil already start to stick onto the skin. But the way we apply it, it's with the toner. We get a little bit of toner. I already have some here, guys. Okay, a little bit of toner in the bowl, maybe less than that amount because I added it all. And then we're going to use the toner, and we're gonna use a 4x4, and we're gonna fold it like so, okay? And we're gonna wet the 4x4 into the toner, and we're gonna place it down on the mask. So let me put this right here. And that's gonna be definitely super refreshing. The aloe vera active ingredient, it's gonna start seeping into the skin because in this case, the toner, it's our vehicle. Listen, sometimes if the skin is a little bit too sensitive, you can also use distilled water. But the toner, most of the times, is great because again, our toners do not have alcohol. So Dermatonic doesn't have alcohol in the ingredients. So it's not a drying toner. It's great for all skin types. So we wet it. Okay. Excuse me. It's right here. Okay. Mhm. And then on the bottom, we kind of close it here on one side, and then we kind of overlap them from the bottom right here. And we press it down and just get it everything so it's nice and wet. Okay, guys, so what is gonna happen is now with the rest of the pieces that we cut out, we're gonna just kind of add them to, you see how the nose is exposed? That we need to cover that, okay? But we needed to expose the bottom part so that she can breathe. So with the part that we cut out from the neck, that's what we're gonna use. But before I do that, what I wanna do is I want to kind of take out all the little bubbles because I want the mask to lay really good down on the skin. So I use the end of my brush. And let me tell you, this is very soothing, very cooling. Obviously, you're using a liquid, so it's gonna be like a cool mask. Okay, so this is great for sensitive skin. The aloe vera is great also if you have more of a sensitive skin. It's great for acne as well. So if you're working acne, you can do this one because you know it's aloe vera is healing. Okay, so and what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to use the other pieces that I cut out for the sides. So for the nose area, that triangle right here, okay. There we go. There we go. And you can keep adding more of your toner to hydrolyze that mask. It's really plumping and it's very, very hydrating. And when you have those sensitive skin types, especially if you're doing peels, you want to soothe the skin. Again, you don't want to create inflammation. So that's going to help a lot with that. And then the other little pieces that you cut from the top part of the forehead, you're just going to lay them on the side. Okay. So right here. And then on the other side. You're gonna leave the mask on for about 20 minutes. Right now, what I'm gonna do is with you guys, I'm gonna go over the protocol really quickly, and I'm gonna show you also the other products that I've been mentioning so that you guys can know. But we're gonna try to leave it the most time that we can. But for definitely in your clients, during the facial, you will leave it on for about 20 minutes. So take the time consideration as well. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it on there for that amount of time. And I'm going to use the other, okay, here we go. So we share. So the epi factor, like I was saying before, it's something that you guys definitely need to have in your treatment room for you as estheticians to use every time you do a more of a chemical process on the skin. The dermatonic, okay, so the dermatonic right now I use just a little bit just to kind of lay the mask on her. You don't have to do that step, but I kind of like it because it helps me kind of adhere the mask onto the skin. But then with the dermatonic, you also wet your 4x4s and you lay down the mask, okay? The dermatonic, we usually use it also at the very end of the treatment because again, it's a toner. So, you know, you're bringing balance back into the skin. It does have the same ingredients as the derma cleanser. So they do share the same active ingredients as the derma cleanser. The scrub, like I said, the diatomaceous earth, which is the exfoliating agent. It's from marine fossils, but also the papaya, it's extract, you know, which is also an enzyme, is going to help with the processes of eliminating dead skin cells. So it's great for even your sensitive skin types. The glycocell, in this case, we do have the glycocell in the protocol where you combine about 2 drops of the glycocell into a quarter size amount of the derma scrub. And it's great for using before extractions with the steamer, or since we're, you know, doing a hyperpigmentation type of, you know, protocol, then definitely it's going to help. The glycocell is a 12% concentration of a glycolic acid, but, you know, it's still going to help with the renewal processes of the skin. The Epifactor, we also have, we're gonna be using either the HydraQ or the Ceramide. These are our moisturizers, okay? So depending on the skin type, you're gonna base your moisturizer. So the HydraQ10, it's for your mixed combination skin, okay? That is also slightly dehydrated. In her case, I'm gonna be using the HydraQ10. Now, again, it's more of a cream, but it's not super thick. So you can definitely use it on your normal skin types or combination skin types, okay? Or if you have more of a dry, then you want to use the ceramide. So the ceramide is more, it's thicker, it's more of an emollient. So you do have more like a fatty type of consistency to it, you know, it's not oily or greasy or anything like that, but it's definitely more, you know, rich. So if you have a dry skin type client, then this is the one you want to use with antioxidants, sweet almond oil, which is very emollient, aloe vera, hyaluronic acid, and sodium PCA. For, you know, protection, of course, for protection, you know, after the protocol, you're going to use the Dermasun. And this is also what your client needs to take home if they don't have it. So, you know, Dermasun, which is our SPF, it is a mineral SPF, which means that the titanium dioxide and the zinc oxide are your main ingredients. So it's not a chemical, it's a physical sunscreen, okay? But it's not just a sunscreen, it's also, it is moisturizing for the skin as well. It does have allantoin, aloe vera, bisabolol. These are all, you know, helping with soothing, anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, the green tea, the shea butter, it is not oily. Okay, so Lisa, this is what we're gonna do now is just remove the mask and apply the moisturizer and the SPF, okay? So that's all. If you want more information, contact your representative or contact us through our Instagram page, okay, for more information. Thank you for being here today. So thank you. So you guys, this is again, the Dermasun, and it's not oily. It does have shea butter, but it's not super oily. It's not gonna leave any sort of, it's not comedogenic. It's super silky, and I do love it before my makeup. I feel that it gives me kind of almost like a primer effect for some reason, because it does have a little silkiness to it, okay? So it does almost give me like a primer effect. Now, it is a titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, so it is white. So you need to hydrolyze it. So what that means is when you put it on the skin, before you put it on your client's skin, you want to kind of move it and kind of, you know, hydrolyze it before, and then you pat it on the skin. And then at the beginning, it's going to be a little white, but then when they leave from your treatment room, it just has already kind of seeped into the skin. So it does become one with the skin, with the same color and everything. So don't worry about it looking a little white in the beginning. It does have a cast, but I love it. Also, so this would be the routine for, let's say, a client for summer home care routine. So for the daytime routine, you would have the derma cleanser, the dermatonic, okay? So the cleanser and the toner. Hyaluronic acid, which is hydrating, okay? So you would have the hyaluronic acid plus, and then either the HydraQ10 or the Ceramide PX, and then the Dermasun for the daytime. And for the night routine, it would be the Derma Cleanser, the Dermatonic, and then the Derma C, which is our vitamin C. And again, for the back bar, the thing is the back bar is different, the size, okay? So this is the back bar size, but though for the client is the 1 ounce. And again, it's just a little bit goes a long way. One pump, and then just apply it on the skin. It's a serum. So for night use, it's amazing because it's going to give them the glow. So if you're working hyperpigmentation, Derma C, definitely for that routine, okay? It's vitamin C. It also has ferulic acid, and also does contain hyaluronic acid, so it's also very hydrating, okay? So this is a general routine that can be worked on any skin. It adapts to all skin types and conditions as well. And again, guys, this is the promo for today and tomorrow, where for $311 of your investment, you're gonna get all this that you see right here. And you're getting the Derma Scrub, you're getting the Epifactor, but with the 6 ounce, so the big one, okay? Do you see the difference? This one has the little one. It has Epifactor, the 1 ounce, and the glycosol, but you get 2 neutralizers. With the other one, you're gonna get the Derma Scrub, the big Epifactor, the 6 ounce, the one I use today. You're gonna get the glycosol, and then you get the peels, okay? And that's the difference in which ones you can choose. So again, talk to your representative so they can give you more information about that specifically, how it would work when it comes to the different packages, and what you get more of. So depending on what you need. Guys, remember that the peel, the Mandelic that we did today, is what we recommend for the summer. That doesn't mean that you cannot use it throughout any other time, and also for different conditions. So today we're talking a little bit more about hyperpigmentation, but again, you can use it for acne treatments. You can use it over your sensitive skins. Those people with a little bit of redness, myself, for example, I'm sensitive. So I do have a little bit of redness. And when I do get a facial, they do apply the Mandelic on me because it soothes my skin. It makes it brighter. It helps with desquamation processes of the skin. It's gonna help with renewal processes of my skin, but without being too aggressive. So we need to understand that we as estheticians have that responsibility, that we don't have to be aggressive to the skin to start seeing changes. As long as we're doing something to it that is going to bring in that information into the cells, that there's need to be a renewal to the skin, then you're going to start seeing differences and changes to the skin of your client. So it's more about the consistency of your client coming in once a month for the treatment, or every 3 weeks, and then how they're taking care at home, obviously, okay? But then also, being progressive and not aggressive, working with the responsibility that we do have as estheticians, and to take care of the skin of the client. So these are some of the products that I mentioned today. The Dermasun. Oh, and these are the masks. I almost forgot about the masks. So the collagen masks are those veils that we see, okay? They do come in a individual wrapped, and we have different ones. So they are what they call lyophilized, which is basically freeze drying, okay? They freeze dry the active ingredients. They need to be released through the process of water. So they're hydrophilic. They like water. So we use the Dermatonic for that, okay? So we use today the aloe vera, okay, because it's anti-irritant, it's great for acne skin, it's anti-inflammatory, it's also an antioxidant. But let's say you have other clients with other conditions like rosacea, then I would go ahead, or sensitivity, I would use the ginkgo. I would use the collagen and ginkgo biloba, okay? You also have the 100% collagen for extra hydration. You also have the caviar for your mature skin types, okay, and dehydration. And you also have the Myoxinol for those that want a little bit of more firmness to the skin. So again, talk to your representatives about the different types of collagen masks that we offer. For today, for this treatment in the protocol, we're using the aloe vera. Great for all skin types, microneedling, peels, microdermabrasion, okay? That's the one to go with when you do have these kind of processes. So I'm gonna remove the mask. Let me put the, there it is again. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the screen so you guys can see, and I'm gonna remove the mask, and we're gonna finish with the, this thing keeps going up and down on me and I get confused. I'm gonna go, okay, perfect. Okay, stop and share. Okay, so we're gonna remove the mask. So very cool to the touch. So we start from the bottom, and just gently start lifting. Okay, so with her, definitely a lot of the redness went down. Okay, I would definitely consider her coming back for another treatment in 2 to 3 weeks. And kind of like I said before, slowly but surely start working on her condition. So her skin does contain, it is moistured. You do have, the products that is left behind. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna use whatever the, moisture of the skin is has right now to apply the Hydra Q10, which is the moisturizer I'm gonna use on her because she's more of combination. So I wanna use the Hydra Q10, okay? And yes, I wanna do plenty of it because remember, we did do a peel and we do want to keep the barrier protected, okay? So it's not, in the treatment room, you guys wanna use your products, you guys wanna apply what is needed. So for her, I did use, you know, a peel. So I do want to add a little bit more of that extra hydration. So she has that extra layer of lipids that we did kind of remove through the process of exfoliation. Okay. So make sure that she's a little bit hydrated, just a little bit of massage there. Okay. Okay. And now the SPF. Dermasun 50, physical, hydrating. You see, so I'm gonna use this amount. Again, we are in the treatment room. And remember that the recommendations for SPF, it's about I think it's a teaspoon. So we do want to keep her protected from the sun. It is only 3:40 here and we still have a lot of sun out, and it's not just sun, but it's also hot. So we don't want to you know, risk any sort of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Also, areas that we always forget that we can apply: the top of the lids, over the lips, and on the ears. We always forget these areas, guys. Let's not forget. These are areas sensitive to the sun and when there's a lot of incidence of melanoma. You see? Oh my gosh. Guys. So do you have any questions? She says no. She says no. Ay, ay, ay. Do you guys have any questions, any comments? Let me switch back to the other camera. Do you guys have any questions? No? Okay, so whatever you guys need, further information, call us at 305-663-2882, okay? And or get in touch with your representative about today's promotion with the products, and also so they can give you the protocol for today. Yes, Juliana, what's your question? You have a question? Yeah. Okay, so what would you be able to do with this protocol to integrate it? For example, do you have anything specific that you're thinking of? Or, you know what I would do depending on the situation. So let's say you want to do a little bit more advanced protocol. If the skin allows, you would be able to do microdermabrasion first. Okay, so you would do one pass of microdermabrasion and then do the actual mandelic peel. It is possible, but again, taking into consideration the skin's condition. Okay, the other thing, let's say you don't use you could use the spatula for a little bit of exfoliation as well. So the ultrasonic spatula will be another alternative to kind of remove after the scrub. You remove the scrub and then you would do a little bit of exfoliation with the spatula for maybe removing some blackheads, you know, some sebaceous filaments, and then you go ahead and do the peel. Another thing that you would be able to do on top of the mask, it's to introduce the mask. The mask can be used with on top of the mask with ultrasound, for example. So you would be able to do ultrasound as a pushing of the ingredients into the skin. So for product penetration, remember that ultrasound has two functions, product penetration, but also it does help with lymphatic drainage. So depending if your client's a little puffy, you want to do more for lymphatic, you can do it while the mask is on over the mask. Or if you want to use it for more hydrating benefits and to push in the active ingredients that you laid before, and also the mask has aloe vera. So you can do a little bit of, circular slow movement with the ultrasound on top of the mask, okay? I don't know if you have another question about the electrotherapy that you would be able to use. Remember, if you do extractions, after extractions, you can do high frequency, and then you would do the peel. So definitely you can, you can do other things, definitely. Just take into consideration time and the cost. So those would be add-ons, like a, unless you have already a package that includes the microdermabrasion or exfoliation with the spatula or the ultrasound. So, but yeah, you could definitely do it that way. Do you have any other questions? Did you have any another electrotherapy in mind that you would want to ask about, Juliana? Okay, so I'm assuming that we're good now. We can leave the meeting. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today. Hope to see you in the future. If you have any questions, contact your representative. And also for any of the protocols and for today's products and prices, contact your representatives. Okay, thank you so much for being here with me, and have a great rest of your evening. Okay, bye guys. Nice being here with you. You're welcome.